everybody. Happy Monday. It is November 28th. Had to look at my calendar. It's Christoff J Weihman, and it's your time to shine. I'm your host, Christoff J Weihman, America's favorite speaker empowerment coach, the creator and producer of the Ultimate Speaker Competition. And I'm so excited. We only scheduled this yesterday because I have the privilege and honor to bring on my good friend and interview, Gordon Brodecki, ladies and gentlemen. Give a nice round of applause. But listen, before I bring him on the stream, I'm going to share with you a little bit about Gordon. Gordon Brodecki is the owner of Garage Fitness in Croydon, Pennsylvania. He is a mindset and personal trainer with 25 plus years in the fitness industry. He's an award-winning bodybuilder. He's an award-winning speaker, a best-selling author of Unleash the Ultimate You, Change Your Mind, Change Your Body. His passion is to empower men who feel stuck on autopilot, without direction, for them to be able to step into the leader and the man that they want to be by unleashing the ultimate warrior within. And Gordon Brodecki is launching something super exciting this week. And that's why we are interviewing him today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the stream my buddy, Gordon Brodecki.
Good, brother. I love it.
How are you?
Love it. Hold on 1 second. I'm stuck on something real quick. I'm moving this out of the way. How you guys doing today? Thank you for that warm introduction. It's amazing. I think, sometimes I hear people when you introduce me, the list keeps growing. The accolades.
Yeah, the bio keeps getting longer and longer.
I know.
From the time that you and I first met, you just keep building and growing and expanding your presence and all the great things that you are doing. Gordon and I met on Facebook a year and a half ago, and he joined our Ultimate Speaker Competition in April of 2021 as a speaker participant, competitor. At that time, he had only spoken on stage, to my knowledge, maybe once, maybe twice, but not a lot, right?
No, not a lot at all.
And then he made it to the semifinals. He then came back in July in Orlando with our event, the Ultimate Speaker Competition, and made it to semifinals again. Really, I believe that he, I'll let him share, but I think that he enjoyed the experience and what we were all about. And since then, he has been a core part of our team for Ultimate Speaker Competition. In our parlance, we say USC. I know there's a school out there that's trying to use our initials, but USC actually means Ultimate Speaker Competition. Gordon, tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, your background, just a little brief introduction to Gordon Brodecki.
Well, I'm Croydon, Pennsylvania, out the outskirts of Philadelphia. I'm one of 6 children. My mom and dad, God bless them. And I grew up along the Chamonix Creek, where it's a little river in Pennsylvania, where we owned a bait and tackle shop. My dad owned a store that I used to help run. I did that for years, and then eventually I wanted to get into the fitness industry. I used to work out a lot in my downstairs, right in the basement, where the bait and tackle shop was, because my brother used to have a weight set, and then eventually I had a weight set of my own, which I got into at a very, very young age of 13 years old. And then, like I said, I wanted to get into the fitness industry, which I did eventually get into at the age of 20, I would say 22, 24, right around that time. I was working as a dishwasher and a prep cook. I actually enjoyed that job at this place called the Hard Shell Cafe. And I wanted to get my foot in the door. My buddy told me about a gym up the street. I went to that place. But it's funny, this story, I tell this story about me going to this gym and then getting turned away by the owner 3 times. And then finally he hires me, right? Because I was tenacious. I wanted to get my foot in the door. And one of your mentors that you always talk about, what's his name that you always talk about? He had a similar story.
Les Brown, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like very funny because I didn't even know who Les Brown was when I was doing all this. This is like, I think the work ethic that my dad taught me and the tenacity was to go after what you want in life. And then that's what I did. And then eventually I started working there. Worked there for about a good 5 years. Did another job as an environmental technician for about 2 months. Hated it. And we didn't have GPS or nothing like that back then. So I was driving to and from New York and all these other places, oil refineries. I was getting sick, and eventually I was like, oh man, I hate this. So I went back into the fitness industry, finding out what sometimes you got to do what you don't like at all, but you hate, to find out what you really love. And it was fitness. So I went right back into fitness. Worked for Bally Total Fitness for about 10 years. The Bally Total Fitness was my gym and that I worked at. And then it became LA Fitness. LA Fitness was kind of pushing people out. My pay went from $40 an hour, and you're talking about $40 an hour, raising a kid, buying a house at the time, to $8 a half hour, $16 an hour. You just can't raise a kid off that and own a house. It's just like impossible. It's like under minimum wage. So what I did was I went to my own business about a year after working at LA Fitness, and it was really because they laid me off because they wanted a different certification. I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and do my own thing. And sometimes you need that little kick in the ass by somebody pushing you out the door to go after what you want. And then I opened up what you see up here, the sign up here. You have a Garage Fitness. And Garage Fitness was just a thought. I was working out of my brother's garage, and he said to me, he said, Gordon, you can work out the garage if you want to, and which I did. I remodeled it for him, and he said Garage Fitness as a joke. And what we did was I ended up making an LLC out of it, and then been doing that for the last 10 years.
Wow!
Along with doing that, I decided that's not all I wanted to do in my life, because I felt like there's more to be done. And during the pandemic, I wrote a book, and it was called Unleash the Ultimate You, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Body. Because I realized that during the pandemic that the title was actually going to be 10 fitness tips to unleash the ultimate you originally. And during that pandemic, I realized that a lot of people during this pandemic are going through a lot of things right now. And in reality, it's not just your body you got to change. You got to change your mind too, to deal with the hard times, especially that we've all been going through, which then launched into me speaking publicly with you, and you jumping on stage with you, which is a great experience, and be a part of the community, which keeps growing, which I continue to keep coming back to. Right, I love it. I've been a judge, I've been a sponsor, and then what really has launched me into today, if all these things, why I brought all them up, is cumulative of what now is what I feel like is a epidemic now, is that that society is becoming weak, and especially the men in our society. Now, I'm not saying that like the downplay men, but in our society, if you look at it, how do you make empires fall? You make the men weak. So to me, I feel like I was like, okay, how do I fix that? What do I do? How can I be part of the solution, not part of the problem? So I came up with this challenge called the Invincible 21-Day Challenge for Men. It actually is really, I wanted to call it the Invincible Warrior Challenge 21 Day for Men, but they couldn't fit that into the URL. It's too much. So we just shortened it up. But really, it's unleashing that warrior within, becoming the man that you want to be. When you feel stuck on autopilot, when you're sitting, and I don't care if you're like a high-level entrepreneur or you're just starting out your life, your journey. We all have that part of our life where we feel stuck. And there's plenty of times where you look back on yourself and you go, man, I wish I could be like I was like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or maybe you never done it at all. And I wish I could be more confident. I wish I could be. Well, you don't have to wish no more, because now there's the challenge that I created that will help out with that. Yes, it's fitness related. Yes, there's meal plans, there's workout programs in there, but it's much, much more than that. The program is really based around building out and becoming a better version of yourself by implementing different habits, implementing different mindset. There's no tricks. You call them tricks or whatever you call secrets, but really it's diving in and doing the things that you could get, that you do better for yourself by building out your habits, your mindset, your meditation. I mean, there's a list goes on and on without getting too deep into it. You just will be a different person after the 21 days.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
Right. Yeah, go.
That was a lot.
I know.
So you're doing so. Everything you said, everything that you've gone through, you've experienced, it's an accumulation, and it brings us to where we are today. And you are launching this program, the 21-day, the Invincible Challenge.com. So if you go to Invincible Challenge, friends, and how much does the 21-day challenge cost? What's the investment for that?
It can cost you absolutely nothing if you want to join for free. But if you want to be part of the VIP experience where you're in it, like the free get the lives too, but they don't get the extra part of the lives where we dive into it a little bit more. And we dive into, like, for instance, one of the first days is going to be, we're talking about mindset and habits. And we're going to dive a little bit into that. And then what the VIP, what they get is we dive into what habits they want to change and what to do to change them. So they get a little bit more out of it. They get the tailored meal plans that are more in detail. They get a lot more than just what the free get, but the free can get on too.
But for the challenge, anybody can, any man, any male, any gentleman can join for free. Is that correct?
Yeah, they can join for free. But
okay. And then if they want to upgrade to VIP, then they'll get more bonuses, more input, more value.
Usually you're supposed to put, it's like they always say you will add 10 times more value. So I actually did more than that. I went above and beyond and put $1,600 worth of value in that $97 a package for the VIP. So you're getting a lot more out of it than just that you normally would get out of a package, a VIP package. So I'm super excited about that. And originally it was only going to be 10 days, but I increased it to 21 days.
Wow.
Like that, the 21 days, that's where habits really start sticking. And I know that because I dove a lot about it. If you ever read Atomic Habits, the power of the habits, the effective habit, you have to give it some time to fester and build up. And yeah, so that's the challenge in and of itself.
Now, if somebody joins at the free level, can they sometime during the 21 days upgrade to the VIP? Like somebody jumps in and say, okay, I just want to, get started. And then after the first or second day, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Of course I want to do VIP.
Well, that would be a question. It's kind of
that's
hard
for your team. That's for your development team.
It's a lot that goes on in the back end. And
yeah. Okay.
If that's the case, like, talk to me. We'll have a conversation. At the end, we're going to be really diving in. And if somebody really wants to work with me, also would be a 10-week program at the end of this.
But so for $99, that's a
lot. You get the VIP. You get. I mean, you will be seeing a huge. I'm doing it myself, by the way. I have my own workout routine. Yes, I have my own cardio routine that I'm going to be doing. But everything else on top of it, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm creating a community for men so they can get on here and get rid of some bad habits, start new ones. And even if you do I don't want to say this like being, just do a third of it. I want you to do all of it, right? I want you to do all aspects of the homework. But even if you dive in and do a third of this, it will change who you are. If you're doing things to get rid of bad habits and you're doing things to replace with something good, you're going to change who you are mentally and physically. And I'm super excited about it because the community I'm creating within it is just going to keep building upon itself as time goes on.
I love it. So I was reading, some of the messaging, and of course, when we put out any kind of a program, we're trying to hit different markets or different groups of people. So I just want to address this and have you ask this question and let you address it. So you're looking for people who feel stuck on autopilot. So I don't feel stuck on autopilot, me personally. I don't feel like I'm without direction, and I do feel like I am a leader. However, I do feel that I personally would be, knowing you, I would gain great value. So if somebody's reading the website and they're like, oh, well, I'm not that, is there still value for, like, it covers a wide range of situations with men. Am I right?
Right.
Talk about that.
Right.
Like if I say, hey, I'm not feeling stuck. So am I, by signing up, admitting that I'm stuck?
No, you're not. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're stuck. It means that you want more out of yourself.
Okay.
You want to be a better version of yourself. Men's testosterone levels are lowest than they ever have been. They're dropping and dipping statistically. If you look at statistics, it's 25% lower than they've been in the 80s. Some studies say 50%, but I'm going to go with the study I think it's more true to. It's about 25% down, which is huge. right? It's less fertility. There's actually, if this could go conspiracy here, but I don't like going to conspiracies. But there's less kids being born right now, and than ever, right? So like, there's something wrong there. Sex drive has been down for men. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and we're also the most obese we ever been too, which is crazy, and like we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be that. And also medications that we the Western culture, our culture, like we take a lot of medications that we don't really need if we were to take care of our bodies and feed ourselves right. And you know that, right? Like you take care of yourself, and you're vegan. Am I correct? Am I correct on that?
Vegan plus, I call it. Yes, I eat some fish now and then.
The type of water you drink, it's very important, right? You drink a certain type of water. Like you don't want any impurities in your body, and you do that for a reason. That's going to help. That helps out too. And there's so many tips and tricks that's going to help increase your testosterone. You're going to get better sleep. Overall, you're just going to feel more energy. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want that. Even at my level where I'm at now, this program, as I follow along with it with everybody else, because I'm going to be doing it with everybody else, all the habits, building my own habits, and get rid of some bad ones. And it's going to make me a better person. I'm excited about it, not just for everybody else, but for myself too. So if I'm excited about it for me, you should definitely be excited about it too.
I know how you feel. When I wrote my first book, this really relates. My first book, my main gig has been for a number of years customer service. Before I got into the speaker coaching and training and all of that, I love customer service, 5-star service. My first book, it took me 6.5 years to write. It's called Getting to Wow. Everybody wins with 5-star service. And I read my book so many times. I would have it on my nightstand and I would read it before I go to bed. And I would, Michelle, Michelle, and she can attest to this, at least a handful of times, I would say to her, you know what? If I hadn't written this book, this is the book that I would buy. I love it that much. Not because I'm the one who did it, but because I know the value that's within it. And like to be able to, to embrace what you are sharing, your gift, your ability, your knowledge, your expertise, and to know that you have so much to offer. I completely understand what you're saying. Like you're going to do you're going to do your own challenge. Like, come on, people.
Right, exactly. It's no other way. You've got to do it. You got to be in it with the people. I'll use a great example. I hear people sometimes like they talk about working out and they're like, oh, you should work out, but they don't work out themselves, right? It doesn't make any sense to preach something and not do it yourself. It doesn't make any sense for me to hold a challenge and not challenge myself along with everybody else and be part of it. I feel like as wanting people to be a great leader, and as wanting to be a great leader myself, I also to be a great leader. It's not about like hello, look at me, I'm the king, right? It's not about that. It's about being part of the community and guiding people. I'm a guide. I'm not for me. That's what I think a true leader takes, is to guide people in the right direction, not to put me on a pedestal. And I don't want to be a god. I don't want to be any of that stuff. I just want to guide people in the right direction and be the best version of themselves. Like I want to be the best version of myself.
So this starts on Thursday.
No,
it starts on Wednesday.
November 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then it runs once a week. And then the dates it will be in the challenge itself. We originally were going to start November 1st. So a lot of people, if they're going to sign up, they're going to see that the dates are wrong. But we're fixing that. That'll be adjusted on the back end. It's just that it was when originally we were going to have it November 1st. I had to push it back a little bit because I had prior engagements that end up coming up, and I had travel and stuff like that. So, but now we're ready to rock and roll. We're excited about it. The team has been putting some hard work into this. Michael Gabriel, Caroline Schaefer. Even JR has put a lot of help with this. JR Spears. So there's a lot of people that have been helping me out with this too. So it's like I said, it's not without help. And I always say, I just remember reading this and I use it now. I like literally just stole it because I think it's great. It's like I'm not self-made. I'm help-made. So along the way, that's if you always look at it that way, then yes, you can have ego. Ego is a very important thing to have. It's also a very tricky thing too. You want to have ego so it can get you up and move, but you also don't want to have it so much where it debilitates you too, or it causes you to push others away and think you did everything by yourself, and there was no help along the way. People always say I did this all by myself. That's ridiculous, because you only see further because you stood on the top of the shoulders of giants. Sir Isaac Newton said that, and I've always believed that. I think it's so true, because you can't get further until somebody else has done it. That's the only way you get further. I mean, you can come up with some things on your own, kind of, but not really, because somebody out there has already put that out there. Well, like Netflix didn't become Netflix without Blockbuster, right? Does it make sense?
I'm not self-made, I'm help-made. And yeah, I agree. And it's kind of funny when people say that, oh, I did it all by myself. Really? There are no other people involved. 100%? Well, where'd you get the ideas from? Where'd you get the structure? Where'd you get the format? Where'd you get any, you did it all. I self-published my book. I know, but you still had to have some, like,
right,
some support somewhere, somehow, or you learned from somebody. You were trained, you went to a seminar, you went to and community is super important. So I want to talk about something else, because look, we just finished Thanksgiving, but for some people it's not over. they've got refrigerators full of leftovers, right? There's lots of turkey and gravy and stuffing and all of that. So let's talk about why in the heck, Gordon Brodecki, why would you schedule this like right between Thanksgiving and now Christmas is coming up, and people might have holiday parties, and oh my gosh, like what's this all about? And wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better if we just waited until January 3rd or 4th or 5th or 10th?
Would it be better if we wait until next year?
That's the question that some people might be thinking. I want you to answer that.
So here, my answer to that is, why would you want to wait for something when you can start now? Because that's procrastination at its best. There's always, I even talk about it in my book. You're always going to be a holiday. There's always going to be a party. There's always going to be something you have to do that you're going to push it off for something else, that your own health or your own fitness. So the reason this actually works out really good, the 21-day where it is. It's right after Thanksgiving, by the way. And it's right after Thanksgiving. It's right before, it's days before Christmas, about 4 days before Christmas. It ends on the 20th. And to me, is like, okay, all right, you have parties and all, but listen, it's not on Christmas and it wasn't on Thanksgiving. And then you got all that time in between to really take control of your life and start new habits. And there's no better way to do that than now. The time should always be now when you want to make a change in your life. If you keep putting it off till tomorrow, it's just going to be another tomorrow. There's always going to be another tomorrow.
And in the words of, who was it? Burgess Meredith, who was Rocky's coach. What was Rocky's coach name?
I forget his name, but he used to talk like this.
Yeah.
Rock.
He says, come on, Rock. You know what? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Well, honestly, there possibly could be no tomorrow, right? And or something happens and God forbid, you're on your deathbed, right? And you're going to look back and all the things you regretted to do. And and part of that, if you're not healthy, actually, I read a whole article on that about what the death regret, and one of them was not taking care of their health better. It was one of the things. A lot of other things, right? But that was one of the number one things that doing the things that they wanted to do, they were too scared to do. So there's two things that really stuck out for me. It was taking better care of their health and not doing the things that they wanted to do. And that's actually, after I spoke for the first time, when I read that, actually I talked about that. It was one of the reasons why I decided to keep going further with it and join your USC, because I realized, I'll tell you a story real quick about one of my clients. Her mother just passed away. I was at the memorial service, and we're just talking, and we're just talking about fear, and we're talking about her daughter and fear and other things about people fearing things. And I saw that you always play. It's called Fear is a Liar. And I played that for her when we were training. And immediately we both got emotional. Like immediately. It was crazy. And I heard that song 1,000 times at the event. Right. And I'm never, you know me, you know
Yeah.
about it brought me to an emotional state. And it really can be a liar. And we're so afraid to do things, and we put things off till later on because we think we have more time. And you know, if you think you have more time, look at your grandparents or look at people that ask them if they thought that too, because you have a finite time in this world, and why don't you make the best of it and feel the best you can?
Wow. Wow. Yeah. There's that you just said it. There's a saying, or your problem is you think you have time. You think you have time. And so thank you for answering that. It does make sense. You were actually very strategic, because I didn't count out the days, but that makes sense. It does end before Christmas for those that celebrate Christmas. And yet anybody that's been in the challenge, they'll have had 3 weeks of getting into gear, beginning to create habits that maybe they haven't done before, relating to mindset, relating to health, nutrition, rest, all of these different things.
I had somebody who called it, you know him, Michael, the one who came in second in the Ultimate Spear competition, reached out to me, joined the challenge. He literally said to me something. I'm not going to like expose it, but he said something. He's quitting, and he said the challenge has pushed him in that direction. And I was like, wow, just be a part of it. I didn't do it yet. And then I called him up. We had a conversation on boarding call. Just talked to him a little bit about what to expect. And he's so excited about being part of a community that's going to help him get rid of the habit that he's really, really working on breaking. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, just even to sign up for it has pushed him in the right direction already.
So this is another great thing to talk about. You know, the fact of anticipating and planning to do something starts to get our mental and, you know, emotional juices rolling. For some people, it is, you know, so he heard about it a couple of days ago or whatever. So people that sign up for something and it didn't start immediately, it gives them time to like build up this anticipation and expectation, and I can't wait to get started, as opposed to sometimes, and there's value to both, but sometimes you sign up for a program, they say, okay, here, the link is in your email, go ahead and do it, get started, right? But you're building a community so that you're actually helping the people. It's not just you sending, and not to say that it's bad, good or bad, but I like the fact that your program, for what I understand that you explained to me the other day, it's not only a bunch of pre-recorded videos that you send and there's no personal interaction, right?
No, there's definitely personal interaction. That was something I debated on. Like, should I allow the people that are free in and because they're not paying for it? And I'm like, you know what? No, that's not how you create. That's not giving back. So I want to make sure that the people that are coming into free get value, the people that pay get extra value, right? Like VIP, and that's the kind of community I want to create. I want to, and people that really want to be part of it, right? They want to. There's going to be certain people that I speak to that are going to be like, this is great, and they're the people that I want to surround myself with. The go-getters, the people that understand that take sometimes. Hey, listen, life isn't always easy. There's days where I question my own self, right? Nobody's perfect. I sit there and I debate with myself. Am I doing the right thing? There's a lot of times I say to myself, there's a little voice in my head will go off. I'm not saying it out loud, but I'll say it out loud now. That'll tell me like, oh, you should just give up. This is all stupid, right? There's always going to be those little voices. But what do? You don't allow that you don't allow that to take over. And I think when you build yourself a community like this, of like-minded people that want the same things, who want to be better, that voice gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's what I really, really want to do. I want to create a community of men who can reach out to each other, who can talk to each other, who can lean on each other. And you know, it all comes back to this, man. We could talk about how being tough and everything, which is actually yeah, you had to have a tough exterior to really make it in this world. You do have to work hard, but it does. Let's fall back on too. Is like we could go in love. I think we have to also realize we coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of destruction. It's coming from a place of love and community, and then like-minded people. But at the same time, I'm not sitting there making excuses for you either, though. Right? As if you want to be part of this community, we're not making excuses for each other. That goes out the door. I love John Taffer. You know who John Taffer is?
Yeah, of course. I live in Vegas.
I don't embrace excuses. I embrace solutions. And I was like, ooh, I love that. I love that. That's so true. Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't embrace excuses, embrace solutions. And that's what you're doing, what you're providing. Let me ask you a question. I'm not touting our horn, but just in general, the idea of being a speaker, which a year and a half, 2 years ago, you really were not, but you've been on stage many different times. You've continued to grow and evolve in that way. Would you say that like, why is now the time? You know, when as a business owner, as a fitness trainer, I know you're supremely confident because you've been at it for 25 years or more, right? And as a competitor and training other people for a competition. So your level of confidence in that whole arena is up there. It's very clear because that's where you reside. But now you're doing something in a different format, right? Which is different.
Correct.
And I, as not really an outsider because we're friends, but just viewing, I think that you have grown so much, and the confidence of you being on stage and honing your message has brought you to this place where maybe a handful of months ago, it wouldn't have been something that you were ready to do. Do you want to comment about that a little bit?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head because I'm aligning with more who I want to be, more who I am, and the more the message comes out through that, it does help with the speaking. The speaking help out tremendously. If you know Jordan Peterson he talks about that. He said he talks about this about Jung talks about it in psychology, and he said you had to become a monster. And I'm thinking to myself, what's that mean? And he explains it. And he said, you have to become a monster, but under control. And he said, and one of the best ways to do that, he's like, you're not this destructive monster like the Incredible Hulk. You work on your vocabulary, you work on being articulate, you work on your moods, your emotions when you talk, and you keep doing that. And that's how you become a monster. You become absolutely unstoppable when you learn how to speak, along with everything else. So part of my journey for me was to become a better speaker, was also to become more articulate and more confident. And that helped out my mentality too. So being part of the community, USC community, has helped me out tremendously with that, being on stages, talking to more people and doing, and definitely is a huge component of my growth, is being part of what we've been doing together.
You know, it's very interesting. A few moments ago, I was thinking about, I know you're a big fan of Jordan Peterson, and he's quite, he's got some very strong points. Like he's not mainstream, I would say, right? He might even have some controversial type of thoughts. And what I was thinking about a moment ago was sort of what you were talking about, and he expands on it in another way. And he talks about men and about being strong and weak. And this is just obviously my paraphrase, but he said something about if you are not, I don't know if he used the word monster, but if you are not somebody who is capable of harm, capable of destruction, then there's no virtue in that because you're just weak.
Yes.
You're just weak. And he said the value or the character is in the fact that as men, we are capable of unhinged or unbridled emotions or actions. And the strength of character comes from reining it in, being in control of your emotions, being able to be vulnerable. And I thought that's interesting. I didn't know if I wanted to bring it up, but since you mentioned it,
I love this topic, and I'm very listen. I'm only getting started in this arena where I'm talking more and more about things, and more people are hearing me. And I'm sure I'm controversial to some people, and the whole toxic masculinity thing it's gone way too far, because what people are saying is, oh, men have to be more emotional, and you know what? We don't have to be anything. We just got to be who we are. It doesn't say we're not. I'm not saying not to express your emotions, not to be emotional, not to be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. That's fine. Be vulnerable. I've been vulnerable plenty of times. I've got balled up started balling up and get on stages and talking to people, and when I'm really getting passionate, that's not what that means. It doesn't mean it. See that's where the lines are skewed, because this toxic masculinity thing, that the word that phrase being thrown around is so ridiculous right now. It's saying men don't know how to act anymore. They don't even know how to be. They don't know where the place is. So it's becoming toxic, right? That's becoming toxic. And Jordan Peterson talks about that even, and a few other people. And I've been talking about it for a while myself. And it's like they're trying to castrate men and society. And it's not like it's like, oh, look at everybody's against this conspiracy theory. It's just where social media has pushed us to just accept men should be just calm down, relax. You got to cry now. Go to your safe place. Here's your participation trophy. Like all that stuff, to me, is BS, and it doesn't have any room for the people that I want to be around, because I don't want to be friends with a super nice guy. To be honest with you, because I think that half of those guys are. When a guy's too nice, something about that is like, I'm not saying like the normal nice guy, like, hey, what's up, buddy? It's a person who just comes off, rubs me the wrong way, and they have an underlining that they're the people of the weak men. There's something else going on deep down inside. They're being sneaky. It's something you just can't trust about them, right? That's what I'm talking about right there.
Wow. If we are broadcasting on 3 different channels. We're on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, and on YouTube. And whether you're just joining us or watching the replay, I'm here with my good buddy Gordon Brodecki, who is an author, the CEO of Garage Fitness. He is launching his 21-day Invincible Challenge for men. You can go to theinvinciblechallenge.com to sign up. It's free to join. There's a $97 upgrade if you want to take advantage of the complete full experience and get all the value, nothing held back. 21 days, starts November 30th. What happens if somebody watches this on the replay and now it's December 3rd, December 5th? Can they jump in?
I mean, I guess kind of out of luck, because it's 21.
But can they jump in if they come across this at sometime while it's still in process?
They can jump in if they want to. It's free. So if they want to jump in and get the rest of the experience, but they're going to be lost a little bit. That's the only thing. I'm planning on running these quite often, right?
Okay.
It's not a one and done thing.
Don't say that. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is the only time, people. This is the only time. Don't wait for next time. We just got done.
No, I don't like waiting.
I know what you're saying.
But when I say about running, it's like I want to create a community of people that are part of a bigger thing. This is a bigger thing. We're not stopping. I don't want it's like I want to create something that's so big for us men that we can really be part of, that's gonna revolutionize what's going on right now. And I know there's other men out there that are doing the same thing, because I see it now and I hear it, and I'm super excited about that, because it's been a problem for a little bit now, and I'm just being more vocal about it more and more now. I'm done sitting on the sidelines.
I love it. And if you want to connect with Gordon, you can go to garagefitnesspa.com. When I read that first, it looks like Garage Fitness Spa. He is not running a spa that I know of, but it's Garage Fitness PA for Pennsylvania, because he's in Croydon, Pennsylvania. That's your website. You can also find him on Facebook, Gordon Brodecki. And if you want a copy of his amazing book, Unleash the Ultimate You, change your mindset, change your body, you can go to that link right there, and you can purchase your copy there.
Is that
And
his guy?
what's that?
Who's that handsome guy?
It's that guy right
The
there.
Handsome. Come on, man.
Handsome, the handsome guy. Well, of course. What else you want to share, Gordon, before we say goodbye?
I mean,
We have, but before you say that, we do have a few people that are watching. We want to say thank you. Hello to Deshaun. Deshaun Williams says Gordon is amazing. Joanna Bricker-Plier says awesome.
Joanne, I love Joanne. I know these people.
Michelle Renee Weihman, my wife, yes.
I know her. She's amazing too.
She's
all
a
amazing
big
people.
fan supporter.
I watch you guys on Facebook. I see you moving. You guys are movers and shakers too.
We're all here. You know, we're not self-made. We're help-made, and we're here to support. And that's why I wanted to bring you on here. You know, we don't do things in a vacuum. There are people in our community that may not know of you yet. So I vouch for this guy 100%. Gordon is gonna, like, I love it. Not self-made, help-made. We got Shanika Roberts watching from North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got people from all over the country that are watching. And I'm excited for you, Gordon, and I'm excited for those of us that are going to be joining. Go ahead.
Real quick, when you said do you have anything else to say, and I'm sitting here just thinking about this. And of course, this challenge is for men. But what it is more for is not just for the men, but just for the women and society in itself. Because if we're better men, we're better providers, we're better caretakers, we're better. And when I say provider, it's not like you stay at home and then I go to work. It's emotional EQ, emotional intelligence. It's when you become a better person, a better version of yourself, you're going to attract a better version of somebody else, right? And that person's going to feed off your energy. So if you're married, even if you're with your girlfriend and you start doing something like this as a man, your girlfriend's going to notice it, right? You're going to become a better version of yourself. Most likely, if she's on board and she's the type of girl that or partner, she's going to want to do something along with you in health and fitness too, and want to make herself better. So I think it's just better for everybody than just to say, hey, I'm going to be the best version of myself and the other person can do whatever they want. Everybody's going to grow together. That's what's going to happen.
Yes. I was messaging to some of the people in the chat.
Do they have any questions? Here we go.
If anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat. Gordon would be happy to answer if you have anything that you want him to talk about. Anybody?
Yeah, anything. I got a couple more minutes. I just want to, if you have anything like health and fitness related, you want to pick my brain, anything.
Well, I do like what you just said, and I do agree that is most likely true for most people. If men have a partner, spouse, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, look, when we have a relationship with someone, we want that person to be successful, to do well, to have achievements and accomplishments. And as we move along and you have a win, you know, that person that you have a relationship with will want to, I believe, support and celebrate you. I know, you know, with Michelle and I, we both have our own separate things. She has much more than I, it seems like, because she has her full-time leadership position at the hospital while she's also creating her podcast and her book and getting her speaking going. But there's things that we do together as well. And we support and, you know, applaud and cheer on. And last week I launched my webinar, my new program. I'm not using this platform to talk about it, but my success last week was a lot to do with her being supportive of me, believing in me, being present during the webinar, helping me figure things out. And, you know, that's what it's about. And same thing, you know, I got to see her receive awards multiple times this year for her leadership in the hospital industry or in the medical field.
Isn't
And
that
so
absolutely beautiful? You know what I love about that? Like I talk about with the challenge, when you're a better version of yourself, you're not. And when people work on themselves, men or women, right? We're gonna go both here. Is they're gonna be happier for the other person because they don't feel like they're left behind. A lot, and I see this. People who don't take care of themselves mentally, physically, their partners, they usually resent them. It's the craziest thing. They're jealous of them, right? Instead of being jealous, take care of yourself, be the best version of yourself so you don't have to feel like that. You don't have to be like that. So that's what you guys do. You support each other. I see it. I know you guys on a personal level. I've been around you, both of you, and I've seen Michelle do a ton of things and doing a ton of things, and then you're doing it, and you guys are moving in together. You're doing different things, but you're moving together. And that's really what, when you say unleashing the ultimate you, is about. It's not just about being just super fit and looking great. Like, yeah, that's a byproduct of it. But
I want that byproduct too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the byproduct is beautiful, right? It does build more confidence, does make you feel sexier, and you just feel like you're like, yeah, I'm the man or I'm the woman. You just feel better in your skin. You just do. I don't care what anybody says. I'll go out on a limb and say most people don't want to be unhealthy, right? So maybe somebody does. I don't know, but the people I know don't want to be unhealthy.
No, they don't. And, the last 2 years has been very difficult for the majority of the population. People have become unhealthy, being stuck inside, being, restricted from going to the gym regularly, the past couple of years. I know it's been sort of back to normal for a while, but for many, look, I've always been in decent, I've never been in your shape. Never yet. That's been, I guess, a dream, not a goal, because if it had, I would have made it happen, but a dream. But I've always been decent shape, never overweight, never, And now I am not, and I'm not happy about it. And it's only my fault. It's only my responsibility. So friends, I'm not just here interviewing Gordon so that he can be on this show. I'm doing this myself, and I'm excited. I remember a few years ago, but see, this was 3 years ago, I did CrossFit training, and it killed me. But I was so happy with the results. It was tough.
Right.
It was really tough.
You
know for me.
What's nice about this program that I'm creating? I know all about CrossFit. I know.
I know everything is not for everybody, and I'm not here to promote CrossFit.
Here's the great thing about my program. It's something that's sustainable for long-term results. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's something that you could do and not feel like you're killing yourself, right? It's going to be hard work, yes, but with that, you're going to be able to sustain it too. And that's what every program that I wanted to create, when I create, it's got to be something that you could do for the rest of your life. And you can make modifications and some little tweaks here and there. But if it's something that's great, it's going to beat you up so much that you don't feel like go back and do it again, you're not going to do it. So I wanted to create something that's going to be that you can do at home. You do anywhere. You can go on the road. There's bands. There's dumbbells if you want to. If you don't have dumbbells, at least you can get bands. Everybody can carry bands with them. Anybody can do some type of workout with their body weight, right? Most people can. I'm not saying everybody. I should say everybody. But a lot of people can still do certain things. And that's the type of program I want to have, because then you can take it anywhere. Your playground is the world. Your gym is the world, right? I tell you, if you look at it that way, then you'll never have to worry about always having to go to the gym to get a good workout. You can do it at home. For instance, I went on vacation one time, my buddy, and I brought this pull-up bar that you put in the door frame, and not everybody can do pull-ups, but some people, you can definitely do assisted pull-ups, or I was doing push-ups, pull-ups, walking lunges, bodyweight stuff, and I had some of the best workouts ever doing that. And it didn't take much. It didn't take a bunch of equipment. So reality, what I'm saying is, there's no excuse that you shouldn't be working out. There's no excuse that you shouldn't be eating right. You can make all the excuses you want, but at the end of the day, you're the only one that's going to suffer.
I love it. Awesome. So excited for you, for me, for all the guys that are going to be joining. The invinciblechallenge.com is where you want to go. The invinciblechallenge.com for the 30-day. You know what? I need to put this in the chat. I mean, it's scrolling right there, but let me put it in the chat so that people can grab it there as well. And people that are watching on the replay can grab it. And this is, okay, does it allow me? Let's see. Here we go. Chat. Put it in the comments. Boom. There you go, people. Now there it is. Go to theinvinciblechallenge.com for the 21-day Warrior Within Challenge with Gordon Brodecki. It starts on Wednesday, November 30th. So you got a couple days. I don't know to do what. Finish all the turkey and gravy that's in the fridge. Something. Yeah, Gordon's going to do the same thing.
Oh, I did that already. It's gone.
Gordon, I'm super excited for you. And this is going to be an amazing journey. Last word. Go ahead.
Last word. I don't have any last words, really. Just to join the challenge, get involved, be a part of the community. I'm telling you, if there's something that, when I think about people and what they regret and what they don't do, and they sit back and stand on the sidelines, there's no results in that. So the only way you get results is by taking action. You can have all the information in the world. You can have all the information, but without applying the information into action, then nothing's ever going to happen. So please join the challenge. Get yourself involved, because if you want to be a better version of yourself, then this is the place you want to be. Boom.
All right, friends, it's Christoff J Weihman with Gordon Brodecki. Unleash the ultimate you by joining the 21-day theinvinciblechallenge.com. We will see you during the challenge. Cheers.